first, I want to say that thank you for all your cinema, for giving us so many hours of joy and reflection. And the first thing I like to know, I like to know if you know in Argentina you have too many fans who fills the theaters every time one of your movies released in the screen. I like to know if anytime you ever thought of coming here or shooting something here in Argentina.
It has come up in conversation. I would have to have an idea that would be good for Argentina. I would not want to just take an idea when I make a film in a foreign country that's not the United States and just put it there because I'm working there. If I had I don't know Argentina that well. I've spent my younger years very frequently in Europe. And so I know a little of Paris, I know a little of London and Rome, but I don't know Argentina well. And so if I knew a little bit more about it, it would be easier for me to think of an idea that would be indigenous to Argentina. And if I did that, nothing would please me more. I have friends who know Argentina, who come from Argentina and know it well. And, I'm sure it would be wonderful to be able to spend a couple of months in Argentina filming. That would delight me and certainly delight my wife.
Well, we expect here when you want to come. Talking about, Europe, London, Rome, I like to know how was for you to start to shooting in these countries. We know all your films, the main of your films are in New York, but how was for you to translate to these countries to shooting your last pictures?
My last picture I shot, of course, as you know, in Paris. And I know Paris pretty well because I've filmed in Paris before on a few occasions, and I've spent time in Paris. So I know Paris. So when I was home thinking of the script and constructing the story, I was familiar with it, and I knew what to do and where to put the people and how to tell the story. But there are a few countries like that I know well enough to. Argentina, I don't know. America, Argentina, we know only from very unrealistic movies from the 1940s when they used to make these musicals about flying down to Argentina and how wonderful it was. And I'm sure they were exaggerating for musicals about what it was like, but if I know a place, it's much easier for me to get an idea for it.
Of course. And when you think talking about this last movie, do you write in English, later translate to French? And how do you direct to the actors, in English, in French?
I don't speak French. Some of the actors spoke enough English, but you can tell when you're watching actors in another language who the good ones are. I'm sure if you see a movie in Japanese, Kurosawa or something, Ingmar Bergman is Swedish, you can see that they're acting well. You can see the reality of their acting. And so it was not hard to tell. I knew what the dialogue was because I wrote it. So I knew what they were saying, and I could see the way they said it. If I had to speak to them, I would speak in English, and they understood it for the most part. But if they couldn't, I would communicate with them. I know a few words of French, and there was always someone there that knew both languages, and I could explain to him I would like him to be a little more angry in the scene, or talk a little faster, he's slowing up. And they would explain it to him, and the person would do it, and I could watch. And if it was not right, I could tell. But I always hire very good actors, so I don't have to give them a lot of instructions, a lot of direction. They read the script and they understand, and they say either no, I don't want to do this script, or yes, I want to do it. When they say yes, they know what to do. They understand the scenario and they do it. And once in a while I speak to them, but I don't have to speak a lot to them. They're very fine actors and they know what they're doing.
Of course, this is your 50th movie, and I like to know what continues to inspire you to make movies.
Well, I have ideas, and when I'm through with the movie in France this time, I come home to New York, and I'm home, and I lead a quiet life. I get up in the morning and exercise, and then write. And I have ideas. When I'm finished with the writing, if it came out as well as I had hoped, then I go and make it into a movie. The movies I've made over the years have not been expensive. It has not been that I have to raise $100 million or anything. I raise a small amount of money and I make the film. I work with the same people very frequently, and we all know each other, and it's not difficult. I mean, people think, oh, you make a movie every year. A year's a long time. You write the script. I mean, how long does it take? A few months to write it, and then it takes a few months to make it. It's not like rocket science or a trip to the moon. It's not so difficult.
Of course. Do you go to the movies?
Do I go to the movies?
Yes.
I don't go to the cinema as much as I used to, because for one thing, most of the cinemas are gone in New York. It used to be every block there would be a movie house wherever you went, in Brooklyn, in New York, in the Bronx. But now that's not so. Now there's a few movie houses, very few. And, and it's not the same. I used to walk into a cinema and it was big and beautiful. And I go to my seat anytime, and it was very nice. Now they're small. You can hear the other movie in the other room, and it's labyrinthine and dark, and not as much fun. And the movies are not as good. Many of the movies are those blockbuster films, $200 million they cost for children. So I don't go as much. But when a good picture, also, we used to have cinemas in New York that showed European films, foreign films. So I would go to see the Italian movies, the Swedish movies, French and, British movies. We don't have that anymore. Those movies, we don't see them. They don't come over, they don't make them, or they don't distribute them. I don't know what the problem is, but they don't have an audience. So they don't open in New York, and I don't go so much. Once in a while, a film will open, and I hear from friends, oh, it's very good. It's a Mexican film or an Iranian film or something, and I go, and it's good. It's a pleasurable experience, but it's still not the same experience. You used to be able to, you could walk in the street and decide you wanted to see a movie and just walk into one. You pay your money. It was not expensive. You pay your money. You walk in the middle of the picture even, and you saw the end of the picture, and then around you wait and see the first part afterward. And everybody went to the movies like that. Nobody, now it's, you buy a ticket in advance, and they have seats that go back so you can, and they serve food. They try everything to get you into the movies except to make good movies. You know, that's really the thing that's lacking the most.
If someone never saw a movie of you, which is very rare, but if you have to recommend one of your films, which one will be?
There are some that I like. I mean, I enjoyed Midnight in Paris a lot because I brought me to Paris. I was there for several months. I love the city, and I was able to enjoy it. I enjoyed the period that I was working in the 1920s, and the women had the 20s costumes on. The music was from the 20s, and it was Paris in the 20s, and I enjoyed making that film very much. That was a very pleasurable experience, and I was rewarded because it was very, very well received and very popular also all over the world. So, you know, that's one that, but I've had others that were, you know, when I made Match Point in London, that was also a very good experience for me. And also, the general movie-going public enjoyed that film.
Well, we are ready in time, but I'd like to know your other passion is the music. You still playing clarinet?
Yes, I still practice. I'm still terrible, but I practice every day. You know, you have to practice every day, even to be as terrible as I am. You still have to practice.
Mr. Woody, thank you for your time and congratulations for the movie.
Thank you. Thank you.